Welcome to my channel. Today's story is The Mannequin in the Window. It was almost midnight when Lena turned onto Hollow Street. She had taken the wrong exit off the freeway, and the GPS had stopped working half an hour ago. The rain had slowed to a mist, clinging to the windshield in fine silver beads. She passed rows of darkened storefronts, all closed for the night. Then her eyes caught something strange, a dress shop, lights still on. Behind the wide display glass, a mannequin stood wearing a pale vintage dress. Its head was tilted as if watching the empty street. Lena slowed the car without thinking. The store's name was faded on the sign above, Marable's Fine Apparel. She could have sworn the building was abandoned. The paint was peeling, the awning torn. But inside, it was warm light and order. And the mannequin, still in that perfect white dress, its porcelain face smooth, blank except for the faintest smudge at the corner of its mouth. She was about to drive on when it moved. Not much, just a slow turn of the head toward her. A motion so small she thought her eyes were playing tricks. Lena blinked. The head was still tilted, but now its arm hung at a slightly different angle. A cold prickle ran down her spine. She should have kept driving, but the shop drew her in. She parked and stepped out, the mist dampening her hair. As she approached the window, she noticed other mannequins inside, all dressed in old-fashioned clothes, but none of them faced forward. They were all turned toward the mannequin in white. The door was unlocked. A small bell jingled overhead as she stepped inside. The smell was strange, not just dust, but something faintly sweet, like wilted flowers. The mannequin in white stood in the center of the display floor. Her dress was pristine, though the shop itself looked like no one had touched it in decades. The smudge at her mouth was darker now, almost red. A voice startled her. "Can I help you?" An elderly woman stood behind the counter. Her skin was pale, her eyes sharp. Lena stammered an apology, saying she thought the shop was closed. The woman smiled faintly. "We're always open for the right customer." Lena glanced at the mannequin again. The woman followed her gaze. "Ah, you like her dress? That's the one, isn't it? The one you want to buy?" Lena shook her head. I don't. I thought I was seeing things. It was just the lights, I guess." The woman remained silent for a moment. "Are you sure you're alone?" Because sometimes her voice dropped to a conspiratorial whisper. "She takes more than just the dress." Lena frowned. "What?" She looked around. "Is someone else here?" The woman didn't answer. She just stared at the mannequin. After a while, she said, "You can't see them, of course, not unless you're the right sort." Lena wanted to laugh, to shake off the uneasy feeling creeping up her spine. "Listen, ma'am, I really appreciate your help, but I need to get going." She started toward the door. "Aren't you staying for tea?" "We always have tea," the woman said softly. As if in response, the mannequin in the white dress tilted its head, and Lena swore she saw a slight smile curve its lips. Startled by the sudden movement, Lena turned back to see the woman staring intently at the mannequin. "Don't you want to try it on?" "The dress? For old time's sake." Before Lena could respond, the woman continued, her voice low and urgent. "It would make her happy. Make all of us happy." Lena hesitated. The dress did look beautiful, and the shop had an odd, compelling charm. But there was something unsettling about it, something she couldn't quite put her finger on. The woman seemed to sense her thoughts. "Don't worry," she said with a reassuring smile. "She won't hurt you. Not truly." Her words sent another shiver down Lena's spine. Suddenly she felt a strong urge to leave, to get away from the shop and its enigmatic owner. As she turned to go, she noticed that the bell above the door was swinging gently in the otherwise silent shop. Startled, she whirled around to see if anyone or something had entered, but the bell was still swinging idly. When Lena finally reached the door, she turned back for one last look. That was when she saw it. The tilt of the mannequin's head was slightly different. It was ever so slightly turned toward the door, as if watching her. Lena hurried out into the night, relieved to be away from the shop and its eerie occupant. She drove home, her mind racing with thoughts of mannequins and moving dresses. In the morning, sunlight streamed through her window. Lena woke up with a start. Had it all been a dream? She got out of bed and went to the window. In the distance, she saw the sign of Marable's Fine Apparel. Curiosity overcame her, and she found herself driving toward the shop. As she approached, Lena noticed that the windows were dark and the mannequins were hidden from view. Maybe she could finally put this strange episode behind her. But then she saw it, a new mannequin in the center display, dressed in a pale vintage dress. Its head was tilted as if watching the street, and Lena's breath caught in her throat because she recognized the dress. It was the same dress she had seen the night before. She stared, unable to tear her eyes away from the mannequin. She knew instinctively that it wasn't just a display. It was something, someone else. Taking a deep breath, she forced herself to look away. As she drove on, she couldn't shake off the feeling that something or someone was watching her. Suddenly, she slammed on the brakes, turning the car around. She had to go back. Back in the shop, the bell chimed merrily as Lena pushed the door open. But instead of the woman behind the counter, she saw a dark, gaping void where the counter had been. And then she saw the dresses, hundreds of them stacked in heaps on the floor. Some were dusty and faded, others still held their vibrant colors. And in the center lay a single white dress, crumpled and stained. Lena walked toward it, her heart pounding. And then she saw it, a small, almost imperceptible mark at the neck, a mark that looked like a fingernail. Hadn't she seen that smudge somewhere before? As Lena reached out to touch the dress, she felt a cold hand close over hers. She screamed and pulled away, but it was too late. She was trapped. Now the dress was on her body, cinched tight at her throat. She struggled, but it was no use. The dress held her fast, and she could feel its icy fingers digging into her flesh. And then she saw them, the eyes in the dress. They were everywhere, staring at her from the depths of the fabric, their cold, lifeless gaze boring into her soul. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. She was trapped in a nightmare, and there was no escape. And then she heard the voice, soft, insidious, whispering promises of beauty and eternity. It wrapped around Lena like a shroud, enveloping her in its icy grip. "Welcome," it hissed, "to my dress. Now we'll be together forever." Lena's struggle weakened. The dress tightened, pulling her closer to its icy embrace. She could feel the cold seeping into her bones, stealing her warmth, her life force. Her vision blurred, and she saw the eyes. They were closer now, peering at her from the darkness between the folds of the dress. She wanted to resist, but the dress's hold was relentless. It was like being trapped in a tomb, an eternal winter that promised only endless darkness. Then everything went black. The next morning, Hollow Street was quiet. The shop windows were dark, but in the center display, a new mannequin stood in a pale vintage dress. Its head was tilted as if watching the street. Its face was Lena's. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this spooky story, please hit the like button and share it with a friend. Subscribe for more content and check out our other stories. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for more stories.